Yo, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be running you through a smart money concepts crash course. After this, you'll be able to go and start trading smart money concepts pretty simply, as long as you do have a solid understanding of the concepts I'm about to run through with you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, trading should be as simple as possible, right? Should make things as simple as possible so that there's not 101 different things you got to do. There's 3, 4, 5 maximum things that you want to see before an entry. You shouldn't have a massive four page plan or whatever. It should be very, very simple so that you can just repeat this process over and over again. So there's 3 major things that I need to look for before I ever get into a trade, and we're going to run through them now in order. So number 1 is identify the structural/order flow idea. So obviously, if you've got your trend right now, we are bullish, so we want to be looking for buys, right? Obviously, the trend is your friend. We'll wait for price to come back in and we'll catch another buy. Now, the reason it's structural or order flow idea is because maybe here, right, we don't give like a structural range per se, but we take out like a little order flow range. So your idea is to sell this so you're hedged, right, before you get into the buy. So then if this does follow through and take this out, you're in the trade up here, which is perfect. But obviously, if this doesn't follow through, you've taken the hedge to give us a new breakup structure here, and you're in from obviously that higher low. So that is identifying the structural/order flow idea. What is step number 2? Is does supply and demand support this idea? Now, very important, because if, for example, you have your trend, right, and something like this, for example, right? Yes, you're bullish, right? Because the market is producing higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? But all of this is mitigated, right? So at this moment in time, you don't have a strong demand level to buy off. So you would need to wait for something on the mid time frames, some form of manipulation that you can then use so that you can then trade off fresh demand, because obviously all of this in here isn't fresh anymore. I hope that makes sense. And obviously for sales, it would be supply, so that would be inverted. And what's the last one? Does liquidity support both of the above? Perfect, right? So we'll do bearish this time. Oh, that's not what I want. So we have our downtrend, right? Okay, right. Does liquidity support both of the above? So we are bearish, right? We're trending downwards. Does supply and demand support this idea? Well, we have this supply level which has been mitigated here, right? This is now our current swing high and our swing low. Does liquidity support both of the above? So number 1, do we have liquidity to target, right? And do we have liquidity for our entry? So yes, here we have a nice supply level with inducement here, right? This is our inducement, and we've dropped equal lows here, so we have liquidity to target, right? It's very, very important. You need liquidity to take for your entry. You need liquidity to take for your entry, and you also need liquidity to target as a magnet, right, to pull price away. Good. So now we've gone through those three. What is the last one? The last one is very simple, entry. So now let's go to the charts, right? We have our questions, so we can keep these on the charts actually, just so we can refer back to them. Delete this. Okay, so step one, identify our structural or order flow idea, right? Clearly here we can see we had a shift in order flow here. This was also a shift in structure. So obviously we have our trend like this at the moment, right? This is our most recent break of structure. This is our most recent swing high. This is our most recent swing low. So what are we expecting in the market? We are expecting a lower high, right, to push through and give us a new lower low with a break of structure. I like GJ because it follows order flow very, very cleanly, especially major order flow. If you just look at, you know, how it goes, right, how the charts go, it follows order flow very cleanly, right? As soon as you get that shift, like here, right, we get that shift in order flow, you see, it follows, right, we get a shift in order flow, bullish here, right, shift in order flow, bearish again, right, we give that shift in order flow, bullish, bearish, shift in order flow, right, and it follows, right, shift bullish again, and that order flow continues, right, whereas some other pairs, that order flow can be a little bit messy. GJ's is pretty clean, so I like it. So step one, identify our structural idea / order flow idea. Yes, we have that. We have a swing high, swing low, and we're expecting a sell. Okay, so does supply and demand support this idea? Do we have a clean supply level on this time frame? No, we don't. Right, we have supply, yes, but is it clean? No. Okay, so let's go up a time frame and let's work this out. So on the daily time frame, we do have a lovely let's go POI. We do have a lovely engulfed, right, buy to sell. This is perfect. There's actually nothing wrong with this POI other than the fact that it is 200 pips big, right? So let's go down a time frame. Brilliant. What have we got here? We have a buy to sell that is engulfed, right? Beautiful. Just what we want to see. So does supply and demand support this idea? Yes, we have a nice supply level. We don't have any liquidity on this time frame for step 3. But if we go to the 4-hour time frame, because obviously this is a 4-hour setup, we do obviously have that inducement, right, in multiple places. So we can use this, and this is also in range inducement, right? This is internal within our structural leg, right? Before the break of structure, we have this inducement, which is brilliant, right? Sometimes if you have inducement like outside, right, of the structural range here, this can fail. Not always, but it's good to have inducement within the range, right? So if you have something like this, right, you've got the break of structure, your inducement is here. Sometimes this is less probable to hold, and you can see, you know, a shift bullish. Whereas if you have that internal range inducement, right, it's really good because you get that run on liquidity, right? So perfect, right? We've got just what we want to see on this time frame. So now that our 4-hour time frame is played out, we can then drop down to our intraday time frame for step 4, which is obviously to find the entry. Now, of course, this is a 4-hour setup, so we need to go step 1 through 4 on the 4-hour time frame, but then also again on our 15-minute time frame, just to make sure that we're waiting for the right moment, you know, to get involved in the market. So I will bring this here. So look, right, we tap into our point of interest. Now, step 1, identify our structural / order flow idea. Right, so currently on the 15M time frame, you can see we are just putting in higher high, just a series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right, with a clearly bullish current sentiment on the 15-minute time frame, and also bullish order flow right here. Yes, there was potentially a sell from this level here, but we never really give a major shift in order flow. It's more so just a small little range opposed to like a major shift in order flow. Now, if we come back over to this level, right, identify structural / order flow idea. Okay, so let's draw on our order flow. Right, we've got a nice range there, bullish, and we shift. We give a nice shift in order flow here, right? Then we pull up and we give another shift in order flow. Now, initially I was looking at this level, right, to maybe sell off, but we had a hard run in on this time frame here, and then an aggressive drive out, which kind of told me that maybe all of the resting orders within this level were used, as obviously that is a considerable push. So I was going to be a little bit more patient. I didn't want to use this level because there's no inducement close to the POI, to use to obviously sell off from. So I was just interested in being a little bit more patient and waiting to see what happens. Now, you can see obviously we are correcting back up. Maybe took a break even here. Like I said, for me, there was no inducement, but I can understand trying to sell from here, because obviously the payoff for the trade is big, and maybe you didn't want to miss the trade, but I don't often trade GBP JPY, so I wasn't too fussed to trade this level. Anyway, so we're correcting back up at the moment. This sort of price action where it's unfolded doesn't look like it's going to run on the high, so I was confident that we might get an entry from here, and you can see we then give that major shift of internal order flow here, internal because it's between obviously our high and our low. So then we need a point of liquidity for our entry, right? Step 2, right? Structural order flow idea. Yes, we've got that. We have internal bearish order flow. Step 2, does supply and demand support this idea? Do we have unmitigated supply to trade from? Yes, we do, and it's an inside bar, which indicates it's a range on a lower time frame, right? Because that's what inside bars are. So that's absolutely perfect. Would I trade off of this? No. Why? Because there's no liquidity to take for the entry. So this high here becomes the liquidity for the entry, right? Now, I usually don't set limits, but I did set a limit here just because it's GBP JPY. I ran with about a 10 pip stop. Yeah, and I didn't really want to monitor this trade for an entry. After I saw this, I was happy. I set a limit on the extreme, and it either tags me in, tags me out, or doesn't tag me at all. And I was happy, whatever the outcome. There was also another entry up here, but this was spread hours, so maybe you didn't get in. Anyway, let's see how this plays out. Another thing to mention is with obviously the stacking of the orders and this correction back up, this leaves absolutely no resistance for price at these levels, right? Because everything's been mitigated out of, right? It just leaves absolutely clean price for us to just smash through because there's no resistance. All the orders here have been mitigated out of and filled, right? So after we get this, this is like our only last bit of resistance, right, to price. And you see, we do have a little hard time breaking it, but then it just goes. And once it goes, obviously you can see the whole level just goes with no regard for slowing down. Absolutely blasts it. None of this price showed any resistance to obviously this, right? Because there's nothing here. this is all dead, 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 right? You don't want to trade off this stuff. Because obviously you can see what happens. Smash, right? Oh, what's going on there? So if I just push this on, right? Where did I target? Well, obviously the final target is this low. So I set 80% partials for about this level, which was about 470 pips, and then I'll swing the rest, which is about 1 to 45, 1 to 50 roughly. So a lovely trade to hold. And I will show you where we are now. We are up to there. Haven't quite taken this low yet, but I do believe that we will in the next couple of hours. So yeah, anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video and catch you guys in the next one.